Temper tantrums. Basically, the message from the child is, yeah, you can tell me I can't have a cookie, but you can't stop me from melting down. And your response will be, no, I can't stop you. And I can make it expensive for you to choose to keep that behavior going. It's totally age appropriate for children to have temper tantrums. And once again, we're looking at behaviors that children are developing throughout their lives. We want to give the feedback that having a temper tantrum is not an appropriate way to vent your frustration, to deal with your feelings. If you allow temper tantrums to go unchecked, they won't grow, they will compound. The child will take more and more and more and more power. This is not a skill that your child needs to learn. As an adult, if you're working in a job and you plan to go skiing this weekend, and your boss walks in and says, oh, you know what, you need to work this weekend. You can't throw yourself out of the chair and throw yourself on the floor and go crazy. I mean, you're laughing because that's ridiculous. But we need to teach children in this age zone that it's not appropriate to misuse power. It's not appropriate to melt down in order to vent your frustration, that there are other ways to do that. It's important that you're empathetic. You can say to a child, wow, you're really frustrated that you can't have the cookie. And what you need to do is to move to a solution. In the age zone of 18 months up until age 2, you can ignore the behavior. If a child throws themselves on the floor, you walk away from it. Or you can pick their child up and stick them in a room. And the message is very clear. It's okay to be upset. It's not okay to go psycho, have a meltdown. I use the word meltdown a lot. It's not okay to melt down when you are under control and you have your act together. Come back out again. So ignoring is one of the ways to deal with it. Another way is to use the penalty box, but you wouldn't do that until the child is at least 2.5 years old. There was a 4-year-old little girl who was Olympic. She was amazing at how she could melt down. She had a scream you could hear in outer Russia. What she would do is she would wait for her mom to get a certain amount of things into her cart in a store, and then she would just throw herself on the floor and go crazy. So with my coaching, her mom said to her, we're going to go to the store. It will be so many minutes. If you choose to melt down, you will be in the penalty box, and that will be the car. Of course, the little girl wanted to see if she meant it. So she melted down in the store. The mom took her out of the store, put her in her car seat. She took a beach chair and sat outside the car with the window partway down. And this little girl screamed, predictably or unpredictably, we didn't know she'd scream this long, 50 minutes, 5-0. At the end of 50 minutes, it got quiet. So the mom got up and she said, are you ready to serve your 4 quiet minutes? That would be the penalty box. Little girl, yes. So the mother sat back down. 4 minutes later, she took the little girl back in the store. It is really important that she do that part. Otherwise, the little girl had a huge meltdown and still won because she got her mother not to go in the store. In that case, you can use the penalty box as a way to motivate children to not use temper tantrums as a way to misuse power. For a child who's 4 or 5 years old, you can use the minute drill. And one of the ways to use the minute drill is to say to a child, you know what? It's okay that you're angry. It's not okay that you're melting down. I'm going to count backwards from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When my hand is closed, a penny is going in the jar. For each penny that's in the jar, you will lose time off of something fun that you want to do. The penalty box, the minute drill, ignoring a child's behavior or feedback to a child. This behavior is not acceptable. Temper tantrums are not something that children just do. They won't outgrow them. You need to stop them by giving a consequence to the child that is appropriate and fair.